Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft. And I'm mocking, giving my views, thoughts, and opinions. What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know so, go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. And as always, let me know what you think in the comments section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. We got a good one for you today as we're checking out. None of the guys you see here, sorry. But Lance Zierlein, I didn't even know he put out a mock draft just like, I guess, Friday? Yeah, Friday. So like, yeah, we gotta check out Zierlein's first mock, man. He is a well-known name around the draft community. So let's check out his first round, where he got guys going. And yeah, let's look at all the different perspectives. This is what this whole series is built on, looking at other people's perspectives when it comes to some of these prospects and maybe where they fit, what teams they fit. Just open up your mind and go. Doesn't mean you have to like it. Doesn't mean you have to like it. We'll see this and see how it goes, because I haven't looked at it yet, so I'm very excited to take a look at it. By the way, Underdog Fantasy, sponsor the channel. When you use promo code Broshmo at Underdog Fantasy, they will match your deposit up to $100. Your first deposit, that is. So, yeah, remember that. Sign up with Underdog Fantasy. All right, so notes. We got some notes here. By the way, I'm doing this Sunday actually prior to the Super Bowl, so your final two picks might not be in order. So the order picks 30 and 31 will be determined with the outcome of the Super Bowl. No duh, we get it. Listed heights and weights are via school measurements, so if it's not updated from like if they attended All-Star Bowls. The NFL announced in August. Okay, let's just rub some salt on the wound that the Dolphins are really bad at being sneaky, and they forfeited their first round pick. So 31 picks in this sucker. And it looks like he's doing no trades, as he's going with Jalen Carter to the Bears. The Bears. He says, first thing first, I'm not making a trade projection in mock 1.0, so we will give the Bears a dominant interior player with the ability to help the run defense and pass rush. Matt Eberflus, we've seen this when it comes to the Colts, that they really wanted to build from the inside out when it came to at least the defensive line, and they really focused on getting guys in there like a DeForest Buckner. Granted, it was via trade, but they used a first round pick to acquire him. It could be said that they could do a similar thing with Jalen Carter. Again, we're just kind of projecting that. Jalen Carter, him and Will Anderson, they are the top two non-quarterback prospects. You could throw Bijan in there, but no one's drafted Bijan first overall. No one's drafted Bijan, at least in the top 5. But then again, I mean, best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley. Barkley went 2. I think that was the year that draft value died at running back. But so we got the Bears going to here. He's not gonna. Again, a lot of things could happen in terms of what trade can occur. We still got free agency to get through, so I assume a trade will happen eventually. But again, it's kind of a shot in the dark. I mean, yeah, you got front runners like the Texans and the Colts that can make that trade, but again, it's kind of a shot in the dark at this point. So, like, if that stifles you, I don't get people that are stifled by, oh, this is super unrealistic, la-di-da. It's like, it kind of results in the same thing if they were to trade down to 2 or if they were to trade down to 4. They're going to get a Will Anderson, they're going to get a Jalen Carter, and a quarterback's going to go number 1, or in this case, we'll go to the next team. So it's like, I don't know why people get butthurt over that. There's my rant. All right, we got the Houston Texans going with Bryce Young. Get your quarterback. You got D'Amico Ryan. Go ahead. Just get your franchise quarterback, and then just attack defense if you want at the next pick. And with your other picks, I'm sure they're going to be very active in free agency when it comes to the defense, because, I mean, there's a lot of former 49ers players out there that I'm sure D'Amico Ryan would love to get his hands on. Emmanuel Mosley. We got Arden Key, who actually played with the Jags, but he played for the Niners back in 2021. Samson Ibukam. Did I butcher that? Probably. It doesn't matter. No, you know who I'm talking about. I get it. I have a tough last name to pronounce too. So it's like, I'm not butthurt when people mispronounce my last name. I don't know why they would be. So I still like this pick of going quarterback with your top pick. Arizona Cardinals, Will Anderson. Remember, no trades in this. So basically, you're taking whoever ends up falling here. If it's a Jalen Carter and a Will Anderson, cool. You get to take whoever's top on your board. But in this scenario, you're just taking whoever's left over. In this case, it's Will Anderson, which is great. The pass rush wasn't all that good. Yes, they have other needs such as corner and the like, but go ahead, get a blue chip player. The Indianapolis Colts are taking C.J. Stroud. This is interesting because this is typically a favorite of Will Levis. Everyone's sold on Ballard and Irsay, loving these guys with upside, which is fair. But I mean, that's not to say Stroud does not has his own upside. Obviously, I think he's had the better collegiate career. I like Stroud. I think he has a very, I hate saying floor. He has a safe projection to the NFL. Not necessarily has the high-end tools of Will Levis, but he's not that far off enough to where it's like I feel better about taking Levis in front of Stroud. So, yeah, again, for top 4 picks, they play out as such. 2 quarterbacks, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter. Don't necessarily need a trade. We do trades because we like fantasy drafting this stuff and looking at the different possibilities, but I don't think these non-trade mocks, I don't think they're bad. Again, I don't know why I'm butthurt about it, but I get butthurt about it. Seattle Seahawks are taking Tyree Wilson. Y'all know I like Miles Murphy. Obviously, that's not the consensus. Tyree Wilson's kind of the next guy up here. So you get a very versatile body type, a bit unpolished as a pass rusher, but despite that, has produced. He has tools that just work in the NFL that at least give him a relatively high floor. And with this just insane ceiling, how he tests out is going to be very important. People like to say, oh man, he's not that explosive, or at least the first step, the burst is not good. I think if you go watch it, you can tell he is often early or late off the snap. It's more so his time and his anticipation prior to the snap rather than his actual physical skill set. But Tyree Wilson going here. Christian Gonzalez, there we go. I've been putting Devon Witherspoon here quite a bit, but as y'all can tell, if y'all have watched my cornerbacks rankings, there we go. I released that last Friday. I had Christian Gonzalez as the 1A to Devon Witherspoon being the 1B. I think Christian Gonzalez is going to test out great, honestly. I think either pick's good here. I like the idea of addressing secondary here for the Detroit Lions. You could obviously go in a plethora of different ways. In all honesty, just take the top guy off your board. All right, Las Vegas Raiders, they're going Will Levis. And I like how Zierlein puts it here. One of the most polarizing quarterbacks in this draft. Right, everyone thinks either Will Levis is top 3 overall in this class to like this is a 5th round pick. Listen, he's got tools much better than a 5th round pick. I will acknowledge that. And I think he warrants a swing at the quarterback position. He really does. And it really depends on where you're at in terms of a front office, a coaching staff. Like how secure do you feel about your spot there? Do you take a shot on Anthony Richardson, who in all likelihood not playing year 1? I think ideally not playing year 1, or Will Levis, who could probably go in there year 1. And yeah, there'll be some mistakes, there'll be some ups, there'll be some downs, but at least you get a good look at what you have, and maybe the owners will want to move on or move forward with you being the guy that drafted this quarterback, and maybe you've seen enough encouragement. At least you know he can hit the field immediately. I feel like Josh McDaniels is kind of in that situation right now. Derek Carr's not going to be on the squad. He's going to a different team. I think the other 2 likely candidates at quarterback here are guys that Josh McDaniels is familiar with, guys like Jimmy G, Jacoby Brissett. That's not going to save your job. That's not. I mean, if they can really move on from him after this year, which might not even necessarily be true. Like, Anthony Richardson honestly could end up being the pick here. No, there's some stylistic things I don't think necessarily match up. Then again, they brought in like a Cam Newton, so it's like he's been through his fair share of different type of quarterbacks, different styles. So like I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. It really depends on how hot is the hot seat. But I do like quarterback for this pick for the Raiders. The Atlanta Falcons are going Drew Sanders. Listen, they took a cat last year in Troy Anderson, who is this wild athlete, and I mean they got Foye Oluokun went to the Jags. They got Michael Walker. There we go, for a Fresno State cat. So I mean they could keep at it because Drew Sanders, like he can help as a pass rusher. Like, I think the biggest need for the Falcons this offseason is pass rush. It really, really is. So, like, Drew Sanders could help out in a variety of different ways. This is exceptionally high. The dude's probably going to test out exceptionally well and could end up going higher. Drew Sanders is a guy I think the NFL is going to be exceptionally more high on than probably your draft analysts and such. Like me, I have him kind of in that 20 to 30 area on my big board. Spoiler alert, I haven't even put out a big board yet. Or at least not my most recent one, but I kind of have him in that 20 to 30 area. Him and Trenton Simpson are very, very close to one another. Top 10, though, this is very intriguing. Is it out of the realm of possibility? Not necessarily, man. The NFL draft, it's always a freaking it's a ride. It's a ride and a half. Speaking of rides and a half, the Carolina Panthers going with Keon White. So he said, I had Bijan Robinson here, and he's the better play right now, which is, if you don't want to take Anthony Richardson, which I guess if you're the Panthers, they're also sounds like they're also in the Derek Carr market right now. So, like, you could go with running back like Bijan. It's like, I'd rather trade down, get some assets, and then probably take Bijan. But Bijan's a wild card. No one really has a good feel of where he could go in this draft. Not even necessarily what team, but what range. That's kind of the fun thing right now. But taking an edge was super upside. Keon White, I don't think White's like... This is the highest I've seen White go. Like, he's super unpolished. Keep in mind, this guy was playing tight end back in 2019. He didn't really play a 2020 or 2021 season because of the Rona, because of injury. And it was really his first, like... No, that's not fair. Like, he played a whole year as an edge player for Old Dominion. But still, like, 2022 was, like, a good look against very good competition in the ACC. So, like, yeah, he's a bit unpolished. There's a lot to, like, put together right now on him as a pass rusher, but he does have very, very intriguing physical tools. But this is the highest I've seen him go. So I will say this: y'all could take this as you may. Very interesting. All right, let's keep this sucker rolling. Philadelphia Eagles, Devon Witherspoon. I like the idea of corner here. I think corner's it's the right value at pick 10. It really is. This is something that the Eagles will do. I don't know. Eagles fans will fight you to death over, oh, no, this is... Eagles love the trenches. They'll go trenches, which is fine. But it's just... if in terms of what the value is on the board and what shots you can take, like, corner is the best value here at 10. It is the best shot you can take. Devon Witherspoon will be an excellent addition when you have James Bradbury, free agent. When you have Darius Slay, about to be 32, going on 33. So, I like the pick here. And then at pick 11, the Tennessee Titans, yeah, I was about to say, absolutely gonna be a tackle. And it's Peter Skoronski here. So, left side of their line needs a little fine-tuning, whether that's guard, whether that's left tackle. Imagine Taylor Lawada ends up maybe a cap casualty. Potentially, they could bring him back. That's a guy that they really love, and honestly, isn't a bad player whatsoever. Just kind of been beat up. does kind of feel like maybe his best years are behind him. But man, I think he can definitely come back and put out a very good campaign. So even if you bring him back, you're still looking at left guard. Skoronski, bring him in immediately. He's your left guard, and then eventually have him be the heir apparent to Taylor Lewan. I think could be a cool idea. Jalen Hyatt going to the Texans. This is out for me. This is a little outlandish. This is another guy. Everybody's all over the place on Jalen Hyatt. You either feel like, I haven't seen him this high, but you either feel like he's like that back end of the first round or anywhere on day 2. Like, that's how people are with him. Like, speed kills. I'm not saying this guy's John Ross. Like, I'm not saying he's like, okay, he's probably a track star, really more so than a football player. This isn't Anthony Schwartz. Like, he's a lot more put together than that. But I don't think it's to where I'm taking him 12th overall. That's not where I feel comfortable with Hyatt. Or at least at the current moment. Like, I'd argue if you feel that way, Jordan Addison might be like my pick then. If you're really looking for that guy that could potentially replace, because it really looks like Brandon Cooks probably not with the Houston Texans in 2023. I think that's a fair likelihood. All right, we got the New York Jets going Brian Branch. I freaking love this pick. I think Brian Branch is such a good pick. He would be great in Salah's defense there. Could probably play like a LaMarcus Joyner type of role where he's kicking in the slot and sub packages. But even at safety, he's just kind of this freelancer, free roamer. Like, Branch is just such a great prospect. I'm so excited to see where he may or may not end up. All right, New England Patriots, they go tackle Broderick Jones. So no Paris Johnson. Paris Johnson fall into this. Paris Johnson for me, actually, you're going to see my tackle rankings earlier today because I'm going to record that right after this. But I have Paris Johnson. I think he's a top 10 guy. Like, I love Paris Johnson. He's one of my favorite prospects in this class. A lot of that is he is a great human being, but a lot of that is he just checks a lot of boxes. Broderick Jones is a bit of the same, but he, in terms of being a pass protector, it's just not there yet. He is unpolished in that regard, but I think this is ideal. Like, stylistically, this is a really good pickup for the Patriots, who could immediately insert him there at left tackle. You can move Trent Brown back over to right tackle. I think he was playing both last year anyway. Isaiah Wynn's a free agent, so this is a pick that makes a lot of sense for the Patriots. All right, Lance Zierlein, top tight end, going to the Packers here. No kidding. Let's see this Michael Mayer pick. Oh, what? It's Luke Musgrave. Holy moly. Okay, I know. They don't have wideouts in the they don't draft wideouts in the first round. But how about tight end? Musgrave is experienced zone blocking in zone schemes and has dynamic pass catching talent. I think he did good stuff for himself at the Senior Bowl, but to go ahead of Michael Mayer for me is still a bit of a stretch. Much more put together blocker, not the athlete Musgrave is. However, like, I don't know if it's necessarily that far off. Like, you got the very sure hands of Mayer. He's a guy that knows how to make room to separate with his hands. Like, there's a lot of things Mayer does really, really well. So I'm sure we're gonna see him pretty close in this mock, but Musgrave is definitely a big surprise here. All right, Washington Commanders go Osiris Torrance. I'm actually kind of cool with this because, listen, the Commanders, they wanted to run the ball. I know Turner's out of there, so who knows what they're going to do offensively. Listen, regardless, like Riverboat Ron, he loves to run the football. So I like the idea of keeping Samuel Cosmi out there at right tackle. I think he's been very good when playing right tackle. Obviously, injuries have kind of played a bit of the role in there, why he's not been on the field. Osiris Torrance coming in and helping with the guard play, because the guard play was kind of Osiris Torrance, top guard in this class, easy. I have him as a top 20 pick. I love Osiris Torrance. All right, Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going Joey Porter Jr. Well, this ain't too much of a surprise. He gets to play where his dad played. I think that's great. Steelers, Cameron Sutton is a free agent. I think they could bring him back, but outside of that, their cornerback depth is Pipi Poo. They could probably add more competition, add more talent. I think Porter's actually a really good fit to the defense. Lions fans, get ready to hate. I know Lions fans hate this so much, despite I think it being a really good pick. But Michael Mayer going to the Detroit Lions, I think it's good value. I think it's about the right area. Like where, in terms of where Mayer goes in this draft, I think it's the right spot. They don't really have, they have all right tight ends there, but they don't have a guy with, I think, Mayer's skill set. Like they have James Mitchell there, who I think is an exceptionally good receiving tight end, and he's a dog in the run game. But Michael Mayer is like, he's got the build. The dude's like one of the best run blockers in this class. I think he's a good fit. He helps out your quarterback immediately. Like people were like, oh man, Ben Johnson doesn't really use the tight end position. I call bunk on that because I think he used TJ Hawkinson quite a bit back in 2021. So I like the Michael Mayer pick. If you don't, it is what it is. We just see it differently. But I don't think you could say this is a bad pick. Oh, this is trash, blah, blah. I don't think you could say that because it's the right value and it fills a position of need. And then y'all gonna be like, oh, it ain't a position of need. Oh, come on. You could definitely get more talent at the tight end position. All right. We got pick 19 here, Tampa Bay, right? The Buccaneers, they're going Anthony Richardson. I kind of assumed this would be the landing spot after we didn't see him go to the Panthers. So the Bucs, they're very light. They're headed into a rebuild. No Tom Brady unless, I don't know, in the next few weeks Tom Brady's like, I'm back. And then yeah, quarterback right now is a bit of a project. So you're going into likely a rebuild. So grab a developmental quarterback and then just grab a veteran quarterback that starts this year, or maybe, hey, go see what you got in Kyle Trask. But Anthony Richardson could be the guy you want moving forward. So Tampa Bay, it sucks they're picking kind of at 19. Tom Brady's gone, so you're kind of having to figure what to do for the future. But like you could take Anthony Richardson here, see what you have in Kyle Trask, and hope maybe that's a positive thing, and then you can move on, maybe make a good trade to some quarterback needy team in 2024. All right, Seattle Seahawks are going with John Michael Schmitz. This ain't that early for Schmitz, honestly. Like, I think you start to, like, especially if Osiris Torrance is off the board, you start to think about, okay, well, who's the next offensive lineman up, like interior guys? And it's John Michael Schmitz, it's Steve Avila. If you're a team that would like to get better in the trenches, especially with a guy like John Michael Schmitz, who's ready, day one, starter. And, like, you could definitely upgrade the center position, who they had, is it Austin Blythe that they had there? It's something Blythe. Former, who was he former? It was either Rams or Chiefs, I don't know, but they could definitely upgrade that position. They could get better on the interior, help out your run game, help out Kenneth Walker, as we saw him get stifled against better defenses, unfortunately. Not his fault. When you get hit in the backfield, it kind of is what it is. It just keeps cemented that offensive line. I don't mind this pick. Is it high for me? Yes, but not too high. I'm still okay with this. I think it's a good pick. Paris Johnson going to the Chargers. I like this a lot. The value is great. It's impeccable. It's a steal at this point. You could line them up there at right tackle. You have Rashawn Slater there at the left side. You can move Jamari Sawyer into guard. Then you have Zion Johnson. There we go. I wanted to say Zion Nelson, but that's next year's draft. And then obviously you have Lindsay. I think Matt Filer is going to probably be a cap casualty at this offseason. But people that think that, oh no, both our tackle positions are A-okay, I don't think you're right about that. Say it's just my opinion, but Pickens, he's fine as a reserve, but I do not want him as a starter. I wouldn't. So I would be trying to look elsewhere. I'd be open. I'd be at least open-minded to a potential upgrade. The Baltimore Ravens, they get Quentin Johnson. It's a phenomenal pick. It's great. I don't think there's much more to say on this. A lot of people are talking about how this receiver class could end up falling just because, oh, well, you know what? You could get some solid like potential starters or weapons there on day 2. So you could see where receivers kind of get pushed down. Obviously, we saw Jalen Hyatt be the first wide receiver off the board. I don't think the likeliness of that is high. Quentin Johnson, though, man, this is an exceptional pick for the Ravens. A guy that is just explosive. He's quick. People are down on this cat's speed, or people are a bit more down on this guy's speed than they really should be. He's he's going to be a 4-4 guy that gets off the line very quickly. Keely Ringo, next corner up, going to the Vikings. Vikings need more depth. They need more horses at the cornerback position. You might be like, oh, let's see how our youth plays. Just bring in more talent, more competition to the cornerback position. It's a very volatile position as is. So go ahead, grab that. I like that pick here. Oh my gosh, so many tight ends. We got Dalton Kincaid going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Listen, I love the pick when it's Michael Mayer here. I don't know if I'm really like taking another tight end though. I don't know if I'm doing that if I'm Jacksonville. Maybe if you really want a tight end, you wait till like day 2 and you hope some of these guys fall. I love Dalton Kincaid. Like, he's in my top 40. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. So it's like the value's not necessarily bad, but it's like, I don't know, maybe you could just hit up other valuable positions, whether that is maybe going somewhere along the offensive line. I get it. We've already seen 2 interior guys come off the board. But like, hey man, maybe Steve Avila, maybe you shoot the gun there. Then again, maybe I'm probably going Dalton Kincaid over Steve Avila. So not a great example. We could talk about Brian Brazee. We could talk about, running through my head right now. Really, you could even go for another edge here. Miles Murphy, versatile edge. You basically have 2 Trevon Walkers. That's great. We could talk about even tackle, like that next tier of tackles. Anton Harrison, Darnell Wright, DeJuan Jones. We could talk about those guys here. So like, I love Dalton Kincaid. I just don't know about him here. The New York Giants, they're going Trenton Simpson. They go with a linebacker. We know linebacker is probably one of the worst positions in terms of depth and just overall playmakers. So makes sense. I'm a big fan of Trenton Simpson. Dallas Cowboys going Deonte Banks. Banks is a guy to take note of, man. Take note of. He's going to test out extremely well. He's shown ball skills. People are going to be really high on him. He can be a bit handsy, but again, I don't mind teaching those guys to kind of reel off and be more discreet with their hands. I'd rather have someone who has that physical nature rather than having to teach someone to be physical when just naturally they aren't. Right here, what's this? I love this line. Banks has issues playing with his back to the ball, which he does. This guy's often having to pick up the cues of receivers to make plays on the ball, and you know what? He actually does that really well, though. But I like this pick. Banks is, I think I have him as a top 50 guy right now. I'm definitely one of the people in the draft community that's just a lot slower when it comes to liking Banks, like inching him up. I think I'm at a point where I'm like, let's see him test out, and then I'll go from there. I'll move him up if I need to, if he really tests out as well as people think. All right, Buffalo Bills, Bijan Robinson. Robinson's got to go somewhere. No one knows where. This would be a good pick for Buffalo. Maybe they could address offensive line day 2 of the draft. Maybe they do so in free agency. I think there's going to be some good budget deals they could get out there free agency when it comes to the offensive line, especially the interior. Bijan pairing him up with James Cook would be just bonkers. All right, Elijah Cansey going to the Cincinnati Bengals. I actually kind of like this because this is essentially probably what they wanted to get from Zachary Carter. Get this guy who can be this real penetrator from like kind of like the 3 to 5 tech spot. So good fit. I still think, hey, your offensive line kind of let you down in a big way. I know parts of it was unhealthy, but even some of the starters there didn't really play well. Jonah Williams, Leo Collins. So finding potential upgrades there, I think, is probably the move. But hey, that's just me. Miles Murphy, this is just ridiculous. For me, this is ridiculous value. At this point, I'm a huge fan of Miles Murphy. Obviously, New Orleans, they had trouble consistently getting to the passer this year. Their pressure rate wasn't great. In terms of getting pressure, this was Cameron Jordan's worst season since his rookie year. Again, in terms of getting pressure, I don't know if people get mad when I'm like, oh, yeah, this is Cameron Jordan's worst year since being a rookie. And I was like, okay, aspects of it was fine, but like, and you could, people be like, well, he still had like 9 sacks this year. And it's like, his pressure rate was dog water. Like, I don't care if you're this late to the party, life of the party type of pass rusher. Get me pressure. Get in there consistently. So like, I'm sure Jordan, he'll rebound. He's a great player. But you really you don't really know what you have in a Patrick Turner at this point. Marcus Davenport's hitting free agency, so I think this pick makes sense. Derek Hall, going to the Chiefs, getting more pass rush. Derek Hall is an interesting case here. I think he's more of a day 2 guy. That's where I'm at with Derek Hall. There are a lot of draft communities that are really high on Derek Hall. This edge class is just really good, and like everyone's gonna have these guys ranked in all kinds of different orders, so it's gonna be really interesting when it comes to that. But like Derek Hall is a guy I think you kind of have to play wide. Frank Clark's probably a cap casualty this year, or at least potentially, and he's very streaky in terms of just you're hot and you're cold, you're yes and you're no. You either get sacks or you put on your back. I know it's terrible version, but yeah, no, I like adding more playmakers on the defense, especially the defensive line for the Chiefs. Derek Hall's just for me a bit interesting, but I mean he would have that pass rushing presence. I feel like he's more this like 7 tech 9 tech guy though, which I mean honestly that could work, man. Spag knows what he's doing there. Jordan Addison freaking going to the Eagles. So what you got? Fast Batman, who's Quez Watkins. Well, now you have new fast Batman. Like Watkins is fine. It's a fine receiver, but like shoot, Addison's just great value here, and just getting more weapons for Hurts, I don't think is ever a bad answer. I don't mind this. The value's there. Essentially, can you imagine a receiving core? Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Jordan Addison. Mamma mia, that's sexy. But I think that's the official last pick. Remember, this is pre-Super Bowl. I'm actually recording this right before the Super Bowl. So if this order ends up being different, then okay, whatever. But I really wanted to check out Lance Zierlein. I like a lot of his content. Very interested mock. A lot of guys going real high that for me, I'm like, wow, that's wow. Like you got your Luke Musgrave. I get it. A lot of people were really high on Musgrave though. Jalen Hyatt, man, that literally for me, that's just like my jaw's on the floor. Keon White, Drew Sanders are definitely some eye openers there. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing as always. Until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.